More important than making a film that makes you feel good personally is making a film for me that's effective. I'm interested in not, I want to entertain, I want to inform, but more importantly, when people come out of a film, I want them to be changed. I'm in the change the world business. I'm not in the film business. I use film to change the world. I don't consider myself a filmmaker just because I make films.
Seja muito bem-vindo, é um prazer ter você aqui com a gente. Eu queria começar a nossa conversa com você me contando um pouco do The Cove, porque esse documentário teve uma mudança real, um impacto real. Como isso aconteceu? Como você conseguiu, com um produto cultural, mudar a realidade?
The film was primarily based in Japan. They were killing 23,000 dolphins and porpoises every year in Japan for human consumption. They were eating them. And in the West, we think that's crazy. It's who could do that? But it's part of their culture. So we didn't say, hey, you should be, more respectful of, that they're more intelligent and sentient than you believe. We talked about something might be a little bit counterintuitive. We talked about these animals are toxic. We tested the dolphin meat in Japan, and every bit of dolphin meat that's been tested in Japan for the last 20 years has anywhere between 5 and 5,000 times more mercury, heavy metal mercury, in its flesh than fish does. 5 to 5,000 times more than is legally, but it's not. But dolphins aren't fish. Dolphin and porpoise aren't fish. Okay. But so it got through in this loophole. So every time we talk to the Japanese media, we use the word mercury. We don't talk about sentient intelligence. They say, well, what about in America? You eat a lot of cows, pigs, and chickens, and pigs are pretty smart too. We say, well, that's true, and we do talk about that. But if our cows had 5,000 times more mercury, I hope somebody would say something to us about this. We try to use the word mercury in every sentence when we were talking to the Japanese press so that we would just keep on message. It's the message. And eventually it got through, and now they're killing 93% less dolphins and porpoises in Japan because of the activism and the messaging around that film.
Então, a chave para a mudança foi que você não falou o que importava para você. Você comunicou a partir do que importava para quem estava te escutando. Ou seja, para eles importava o mercúrio. Então foi por aí que você começou a comunicação.
You always make a film that has to be entertaining. The film, The Cove it's a tragic story, but it's also entertainment. First rule of filmmaking is don't be boring. So the film is a thriller. I think Rolling Stone magazine in the States, they said the Cove is like a cross between Born Identity and Flipper. It's, the first line of that movie is me saying, I just want to say we tried to do the story legally. So you're going to see us, break into the Cove. You're going to see us, commit some crimes. So it's exciting. It was exciting to make the film. I want to use that 90 minutes you have in the dark silence of a movie theater or at your home so that you're changing not just the way people think, but the way the brain cells are working with each other to create action. In Hollywood, they say, movies are $10 in a box of popcorn. It's about butts and seats. How many butts can you get? It's the money, the revenue, the box office. And I'm thinking, how many minds can you change that were in that seat? And at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's going to care about how much money our films make. There's going to be, that film affected me. That film changed the world.
Como é que a gente consegue, nessa época de que tudo é rápido, tudo é 15 segundos, tudo tem que ser muito entretenimento, como é que a gente consegue chamar as pessoas para conversas densas, profundas?
You probably watch a favorite series, right? It's an hour long, and then you go, boom. And then you watch another one, then another one, and then you're hungry, you might go back to eat, and you go back to your bed or your living room and you eat. And those aren't 10 seconds long, they're not 15 seconds long. I think people are hungry for content. They're interested in something that's going to touch their heart and their brain and their soul, and a series can do that. And I think it's harder to do in 10-second or 15-second increments. What I said before up on stage was Mark Twain, famous, author in America, he said, the difference between the almost right word and the right word is the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. And I think the same thing is true with photographs. They say a photograph is worth 1,000 words. I think a movie is worth 1,000 conferences. I think you have the right words coming together, the right pictures coming together, the right story, the right music. You have a chance to use this recipe of all this artistic content. If it's crafted well, you can change the way people behave, and that's the hardest thing in the world to do. So I don't think there's a problem of attention span. I think it's they'll drink Coca-Colas and McDonald's if you get to it because it makes them feel good. The same thing with the 10-second TikTok. I want a meal that's going to nourish somebody. It's going to make them feel good. It's going to charge their cells up. It's going to make them happy, and they'll keep on coming back for more. It's you want great content, and we make great content. I'm really proud of and we've done 5 films right now. I stand by all of them because our North Star is how do we make a film that's going to change the world, and we're really good at that. I'd say that we're some of the best producers in the world at making films that change culture, and it's done intelligently. It's done creatively. I used to work at National Geographic. I was the first still photographer they hired in more than a decade. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at thinking of pictures and how people are going to react to it. And then we start adding, like I said, the music and the story. You have a really strong recipe for changing the world. There's Margaret Mead, the anthropologist, said that never doubt that a few thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And I think that it's great to have everybody here, but you only need a couple people to change the world. You just need to be lit up. You have to be on fire. I told the people up on stage, we're at war right now. It doesn't seem like it, but World War II will be a footnote in history compared to what's going on right now with fossil fuels destroying the planet. I run the Oceanic Preservation Society. Right now we're dissolving the coral reefs. A 2% rise in temperature, you dissolve the coral reefs. 25% of the species in the ocean live on coral reefs. 2 degrees. Now, so once the oceans heat up, the water off the coast of Florida this year was up to 100 degrees. We're losing coral reefs all over the world. We're losing them off the coast of Brazil right now. Yeah. Future generations, they'll look back at World War II as like a horrible time in human history, but they'll also look back and, just like we're with the good Germans, they're going to be like, what were you doing while the world burned?
Como a gente está em várias emergências, existe um apelo para a gente clicar em todos os alarmes. Alerta vermelho, alerta vermelho, alerta vermelho. Mas se eu uso o tempo inteiro isso, as pessoas ficam cansadas, as pessoas ficam com medo, aflitas e não necessariamente transformam em ação. Como que a gente pode dar a medida da urgência sem exaurir as pessoas, sem esgotar as pessoas?
Fear or rage is statistically 7 times more effective than hope. I would have thought the opposite. This is a new study that just came out. So if you want to change people, I think you need to get them scared, get them necessarily worried to the scale of the problem. But I think, back when I started the Cove, all the filmmakers said, oh, this is about awareness. I'm not going to give you answers about awareness. But I think the zeitgeist, the feeling of culture has changed now. People do want hope, and I do want to present hope. I think you need to do that because people don't have the time. They want you to do the homework for them, give them some of the answers or some of the way, at least light up the path a little bit. And that's what we try to do. We try to give people a little bit of hope, or a lot of bit of hope. There's so much to be hopeful for. And one of the big problems is just getting people to understand that sometimes these big systematic changes do take some time.
Wow.